In the middle of a dense forest, a monster covered with worms suddenly entered the human village. Its body was covered with crimson tentacles, and everywhere it went, no grass grew. Grandpa immediately recognized it as a wild boar transformed into an evil demon god. It was the embodiment of evil and resentment. At that moment, the tower was instantly destroyed. The boar headed straight for the village. Grandpa told Ashitaka not to do anything to it, otherwise he would be cursed. But Ashitaka, ignoring the warning, got on his horned horse and went after the boar anyway. The boar was distracted by some girls and tried to attack them. In the nick of time, Ashitaka stepped up, bent his bow, and shot the boar in one eye, but this only enraged it further. The boar instantly sprouted numerous black tentacles that wrapped around Ashitaka's arm. Ashitaka turned and shot an arrow that hit the other eye of the boar. The boar finally stopped attacking, the tentacles faded away, and it fell to the ground with a crash. Ashitaka's arm felt as though it was being corroded by acid. At that moment, the boar spoke. "Filthy human, one day you will know my pain and resentment." After saying this, the boar quickly rotted away. By the end of the night, the scars on Ashitaka's arm had penetrated deep into his skin. A witch told him the reason why the boar turned into an evil demon god was the bullet lodged in its body, and the scar on his arm was the curse planted by the evil god. She warned that he would die when the scar reached his bones. To lift the curse, he had to travel to the far west to find the answer. Ashitaka, who was supposed to become the chief of his clan, cut off his hair and set out on a journey on his horned horse. On his way, he encountered a group of bandits ransacking a village. Ashitaka tried to stop them, but when he drew his bow, his right arm began to swell. The arrow he shot broke both arms of one bandit. He shot another arrow, which pierced another robber's head on the spot. Ashitaka saved a monk, who was very knowledgeable, and asked him about the curse of the evil god. The monk told Ashitaka that further west lay the forest of the mountain beast god, where he might find a way to break the curse. So Ashitaka began another long journey. On the other side, a group was hurrying through the rain when two white wolves suddenly appeared on a distant hillside. The wolves were carrying a girl on their backs. The leader, Eboshi, calmly commanded the villagers to chase them away with muskets, but the front of the group was attacked by a full-grown white wolf, causing several villagers to fall off the cliff with their goods. Eboshi raised her musket and shot the white wolf god in the neck, causing the wolf to fall off the cliff. Ashitaka, who was passing by, found the villagers who had fallen. After saving the two injured people, he saw a girl licking the wounds of the white wolf god. The girl's intuition seemed to be very sensitive. When Ashitaka stepped forward and asked a loud question, he was greeted with a look of hatred from the girl. She then rode away on the white wolf. One of the villagers looked in fear at a white ghost. Ashitaka told him not to be afraid, saying, "This is a pixie. It is a symbol of the prosperity of the forest." With the guidance of a group of pixies, they went deep into the forest. The place was like a fairyland on earth. Ashitaka, tired of walking, leaned down to drink water when suddenly a golden light began to shine in the distance. It turned out to be a herd of elk walking through the forest. At this point, his arm began to hurt, so to suppress the curse, Ashitaka had to put his arm into the water. As the elk left, the golden light faded away, and Ashitaka's arm finally stopped hurting. This strange experience magically removed the fatigue and pain from the group. They came out of the forest and finally returned to the villagers' home. The whole village was protected by sharp wooden spikes. It was like a fortress. For saving the two villagers, Ashitaka was received by the chief, Eboshi. He asked Eboshi if she knew why the boar had become an evil demon god. In response, Eboshi took him to the backyard and showed him a newly invented firearm, admitting that the bullet inside the demon god was fired by her own hands. After hearing this, Ashitaka's arm started to shake uncontrollably. Although his left hand held down his violent right hand, the desire to kill Eboshi still did not dissipate. At that moment, a villager spoke up, revealing that he was under the same ancestral curse as Ashitaka. Eboshi had been willing to take care of him. Under the moonlight, Eboshi told Ashitaka the story of the ghost princess, whose name was San. Raised by white wolves since childhood, San, like other animals in the forest, hated humans who destroyed the forest. In Eboshi's mind, San was just a poor girl whose heart had been taken away by the white wolves. That night, the ghost princess attacked the village, attempting to assassinate Eboshi. The villagers surrounded San, and Eboshi and San fought to a standstill. To stop the dispute, Ashitaka used the power of the curse, rushed forward, and instantly subdued them both. After settling Eboshi, he carried San on his back and headed out. At this point, a woman's musket accidentally discharged, and the bullet went straight through Ashitaka's body. Even that didn't stop him from leaving. He pushed open the heavy gate with one hand, leaving the villagers dumbfounded by his sheer strength. No one dared to stop him. Halfway through, San suddenly woke up, and Ashitaka fell down due to blood loss. San, not knowing that Ashitaka had saved her, still hated humans and tried to kill him. But Ashitaka suddenly said, "You are beautiful." The innocent ghost princess was shocked. In order to heal his wounds, San took him to the sacred pool of the mountain beast god and placed a plant on top of his head. When the pixies saw it, they all climbed up a tree as if summoned by something. In the moonlight, a giant glowing with light came toward the forest. Every step he took symbolized life. The mountain beast god approached Ashitaka, and with just a kiss, healed his wounds. The monk, who had been hiding in the shadows, saw this scene clearly. It turned out that he was a messenger sent by the court to hunt the mountain beast god. They saw a large number of wild boars. Among them was a huge white boar, the god of pigs. Soon after, Ashitaka woke up. The pig god led the herd of boars to surround them. They knew that the boar king had been hurt by Eboshi, so they wanted to kill all the humans to avenge him. The pig god slowly approached Ashitaka, feeling the pain and curse of the boar king. Recognizing that one of the pig gods had become an evil demon god, the pig god spared Ashitaka but forbade him to set foot in the forest again. On the other hand, the imperial army came to Eboshi for cooperation because the emperor had heard that the head of the mountain beast god could make people immortal, and what Eboshi wanted was the whole forest. At night, Ashitaka woke up in the cave where San was lying asleep beside him. He got up and went out of the cave, asking the white wolf god to stop the wild boars from fighting humans. The white wolf god told him that one day he would bite off Eboshi's head. The next day, when Ashitaka woke up, the cave was already empty. San had left. Before leaving, he threw the amulet he was carrying to the white wolf and asked him to give it to San. On the other side, the humans set up artillery and lit up yellow smoke to provoke the wild boars. The pig god led his warriors in a charge under heavy artillery fire, and the herd of boars was almost completely wiped out. When Ashitaka arrived at the battlefield, he found dead boars everywhere. He found a few surviving villagers, and from them he learned that Eboshi and the monks had gone to the forest to hunt the mountain beast god. In the boar's body, Ashitaka found the little white wolf. With the help of the villagers, he rescued it, then followed it to look for San. Only the pig god was left in the forest, and he was covered with bruises. Accompanied by San, he walked laboriously to the sacred pool, ready to summon the mountain beast god to heal his wounds. At that moment, a group of humans in boarskins came after him. The pig god finally collapsed, exhausted. As he was dying, he was surrounded by humans. The pig god, full of resentment, began to sprout tentacles and was about to become an evil demon god. San tried to stop him, but was overwhelmed by the tentacles. Ashitaka arrived in time, rushing to the pig god's body. He managed to find San, but was thrown away. The white wolf god also rushed up, but the tentacles eroded half of its body. Just then, the mountain beast god finally appeared, and everything around him fell silent. Eboshi hit him in the head with her musket, but he was unharmed. The tentacles slowly faded away as the mountain beast god approached the pig god. With a gentle kiss, the pig god fell to the ground and ended his painful life. At that moment, the moonlight shone into the forest. The mountain beast god began to evolve. This is when he is at his most vulnerable. Eboshi prepares to shoot, but Ashitaka throws his flying dagger and rushes to stop her. The gun in Eboshi's hand grew plants in an instant. Finally, she fired a shot. The head of the mountain beast god was knocked off, and a huge black bubble condensed from the body of the mountain beast god burst out in all directions. It began to erode the entire forest. Everywhere the liquid reached, everything withered away. Eboshi picked up the head of the mountain beast god and threw it to the fat monk. The white wolf, left with only its head, suddenly flew over and bit off Eboshi's right arm with one bite. The monk put the head of the mountain beast god into a box. At that moment, the body of the mountain beast god stood up. Then he stretched out numerous tentacles, searching for his head in the forest. The forest instantly withered. The black water of the lake flooded the forest, and it also swallowed the human village. Finally, after being persuaded by Ashitaka, the monks agreed to hand over the head of the mountain beast god. Ashitaka and San lifted the head high in the air. Finally, the head of the mountain beast god was recovered. The anger of the mountain beast god was finally calmed, turning back to blue in an instant. He transformed into a gale. And the forest, which had been in a state of disrepair, soon came back to life in green. Just then, Ashitaka suddenly found that the scars on his right arm had faded. San could not forgive the humans, so she decided to stay in the forest. Ashitaka also decided to stay in the village and promised to visit her often. The two of them lived like this forever.